Watch me disappear. Yeah, just watch me and my words fall apart. Welcome everyone to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. Welcome to the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we've been doing for quite some time during the past 2 years, we're going to start off this program with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. Would everybody please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
On the early morning hours of April 30th, 2023, a moderate magnitude 4.5 earthquake was felt throughout the Imperial Valley in California, having been centered on the southeastern edge of the Salton Sea. However, this earthquake was centered 1.25 miles east of a local active volcano which few people know exist. The complex I'm referring to is the Salton Buttes volcano. Having completely formed in the last 10,000 years, this small-scale volcano contains magma which actively exists at depth, probably around 3 miles depth in my opinion, although we do not know the exact depth of the present magma. This molten rock actively vents gases onto the surface, forming dozens of active fumaroles and mud pots. This magma even powers a local geothermal power plant, generating enough electricity for several 100,000 homes. But back to the earthquake which occurred, it was followed by 28 earthquakes in the next 5 hours, representing a true earthquake swarm. This cluster consisted of 15 earthquakes large enough to be potentially felt, with 9 magnitude 2s, 3 magnitude 3s, and 3 magnitude 4 quakes. Since these were clustered in close proximity to 4 of this volcano's 5 vents, you might think that they are volcanic in origin. However, fear not, as these quakes were luckily not magmatic, although they probably were volcanic related. The Salton Buttes volcano is located in far southern California on the southeastern edge of the Salton Sea, where it is 15.8 miles northwest of the city of Raleigh. The Salton Buttes are the only land-based volcano in the United States to be completely below sea level. As a whole, this complex could be best described as a lava dome complex consisting of 5 rhyolite lava domes which erupted in explosive eruptions between 5800 BCE and 200 CE. These vents are generally quite small, with lava not traveling any further than a half mile. The placement of these 5 vents in the shoreline is most likely sheer coincidence, as they are parallel with a series of hidden faults in the Salton Sea itself. The reason for the existence of this complex is that the Salton Sea is a small-scale rift zone of sorts. To the north is the major San Andreas Fault, and to the south is the Imperial Fault. In between these two faults, the crust is spreading apart to the southeast and northwest, allowing for magma to intrude into the crust via a path of least resistance and occasionally erupt onto the surface. While all of these 5 vents used to be distinct islands, the level of the Salton Sea has drastically decreased over the last several decades due to a combination of less regional precipitation and water overuse. This declining water level has caused previously hidden geothermal features such as mudpots and fumaroles to appear on land. Due to the lake water and combination of groundwater, hydrothermal fluids in the ground are heated when they encounter rock overlying an active magma chamber. This rock heats the water, which carries volcanic gases along with it, causing it to be pushed upwards and reach the surface, but sometimes along the way encountering a fault line, causing it to rupture and generate an earthquake. The earthquake which occurred on April 30th was merely 2 orders of magnitude larger than what is typical, with the aftershocks not representing additional hydrothermal activity, but rather stress release due to the aftershock itself. This fact is best displayed via when the recorded aftershocks occurred in terms of the number of minutes after the main shock, which closely follows the expected 1/x rate of aftershocks. In other words, for each minute after a main shock earthquake, the chance of an aftershock decreases, being around 1/x, with x representing the number of minutes which have passed. As a whole, this earthquake sequence is likely to continue at a far weaker rate for the next 1 to 2 days and then will likely cease altogether. This earthquake swarm was the strongest earthquake swarm to occur in 22 months at the Salton Buttes, but earthquake swarms are quite common there due to its hydrothermal system. Past stronger earthquake swarms with up to a magnitude 5.3 mainquake have not resulted in a volcanic eruption, and the same will almost certainly be the case with the current situation, meaning a volcanic eruption is not about to occur. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below.
Okay, that was Geology Hub. That gentleman is very good. He's very good. But one of the questions that he did not answer is the question, what about all the earthquakes prior to the 4s and prior to the 3s? Okay? There were swarms of 100 plus earthquakes, 150 plus earthquakes here between Saturday and Sunday, and another 100 plus earthquakes on Sunday. Okay? But that didn't start on Saturday. The earthquake started on Thursday and Friday and built up to Saturday and Sunday stress levels. That's why those earthquakes hit. Now, I'm going to take that down and I'm going to go over and show you some seismograms from this area. We're going to discuss seismograms here in Southern California, and later I'm going to take you up to Cascadia, up to the Pacific Northwest, and we will look at what's going on there. Okay? I want to make sure we stay with this. This is important. This is really important. I want you to be able to understand why I am not lifting the earthquake watch. I'm downgrading from a warning to a strong earthquake watch. Strong meaning a magnitude 6.5 to 7.5 in magnitude. I'm not backing off the 7.0 to 7.2 earthquake. I'm just extending it from the lower level of 6.5 up to 7.5. Okay? And I have good reason that I'm going to show you in just a minute. I want to make sure everybody understands this. We had quite a few people that left us comments below Saturday and Sunday's videos, which I greatly appreciate. You appreciate them because I answered your questions. Okay? Tonight, I want to make sure that you get what we're talking about. Okay? We're not backing down at all. I want to make sure you understand the fluidity here and the danger that this area is in. The danger this area is in. This bothers me to no end. There are people that do not understand what is going on. And as a result of their not understanding, people probably are going to get killed. Okay? I first want to go over to Bombay Beach. Here's Bombay Beach, ladies and gentlemen. Bombay Beach is on the southeastern side of the Salton Sea. Bombay Beach is the location where the San Andreas Fault travels underneath the Salton Sea and comes out from underneath the Salton Sea just southeast of the Salton Sea. And I'm going to show you that map in just a minute. But look what we have going on. This was yesterday. The quakes I'm showing you here at Bombay Beach and other places here in the Salton Sea area happened yesterday. The problem with this is this. Okay? Let's look at what we have going on here. Okay? Look at the time elements. Up at the top, this seismogram started recording at 1800 hours. That was 6 p.m. Sunday. And then it continued into the early morning hours of today. Okay? So we're taking a look at this. And I want you to take a close look at what's happening. Okay? Last night, yesterday evening, look up here. The black line almost does not exist here, which would be 1800 hours. I'm sorry, 1700 hours. The top line would be 1700 hours, which is 5 p.m. But the problem here, it's not showing. The 5 p.m. line is not showing. Okay? But the 5:15 line is. The 5 p.m. line not, the 5:15 p.m. line is. Meaning 5:15 on the red line on the left-hand side. The red top line on the left-hand side. That would be 5:15. We had this earthquake that you see here on the red line there at the top right. Okay? That earthquake happened to hit at approximately 5:25 p.m. 5:25 p.m. Now, look at what we have here. Okay? Again, they top and bottom off these seismic signals. That's what happened here as well. Okay? if we just looked at this seismic signal by itself, this would probably be close to a 3.0 magnitude earthquake. Folks, this was probably over that. A 3.5, a 3.8, could even be a 4.0 here. But we look at these other seismic signals as well. Okay, I want to go over and take a look at this blue line just below the red line. Okay, this blue line on the left-hand side would be 5:30 p.m. This earthquake that hit on that blue line, folks, happened at about 5.5 minutes to 6 minutes after 5:30. Okay, it started off again. These signals have been topped and bottomed out, so we don't know exactly how strong it was, but this gives us a good idea that this blue line here at the top, this earthquake was at least a 3.5. It's well over a 3 by these lines alone. This was at least a 3.5. Now, we jump down to these other lines here. At 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. on the left-hand side, and all the way through that black line, nothing is going on. But, folks, on the blue line after that, the red line over on the left shows a tiny bit of seismic activity, just tremors, just very, very minor tremors, 1.1, 1.2 tremors. But on the blue line beneath that, the second blue line, okay, look at the earthquakes over on the right side. The first earthquake sequence happened about 6:40 p.m. Approximately 6:40 p.m. 6:42 p.m. This was not a big deal. The largest this was probably a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. We can see the tops and the bottoms of each quake sequence. Then we move over to the second one. After the first one, for all intents and purposes, to speak easy language, it diffused itself. Okay? It went from a secondary wave to a body wave. That body wave lasted less than a minute, 30, 40 seconds. Then the second earthquake comes in. Starts off with tremors and quickly builds into a full-blown earthquake again. Okay, this time maybe was a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Then it bounces around a lot. At the very most, this was a 3.0 earthquake. This one is not bottomed out or topped off. They haven't messed with it. But these other earthquakes, they have. Okay, let's go over to this next blue line. Well, actually, we have another earthquake at approximately 18:50 p.m. on the green line here, that first green line that's showing an active seismic event. That one's been topped off and bottomed off. Okay, this was at least a 3.0, 3.5 earthquake. This next one over on the left-hand side, this is after 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. This one starts off at basically a tiny tremor, and then it goes into full-blown earthquake status. And we can't see the bottom of that earthquake at the start because of the other colors afterwards. The black line earthquake at 2200 hours, which was 10 p.m. last night. Okay, it continues. On that blue line there, it continues, and it gets pretty bad. Okay, it was not topped off or bottomed out here. We can't see the bottom because of the other earthquake sequences that happened after that. But this one, you can definitely tell how strong it was. 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. And that lasted about 4 minutes. And then it completely dissipated into a body wave. Okay? Then, at 2100 hours, which is 9 p.m., not much of anything happened. We had a small tremor sequence. That lasted about 5 minutes. Down below that on the blue line, again, this earthquake was bottomed off and topped off. Okay? This was at least a 3.5, maybe even close to a 4.0 earthquake. We don't know where the top is. We don't know where the bottom is. They cut it off. But this is a pretty good sized earthquake here. And this is at Bombay Beach. We see these earthquakes frequently at Bombay Beach. But again, they are not reporting these earthquakes. They're not reporting the earthquakes. I showed you a earthquake map over here at the Salton Sea yesterday. Out just west of Bombay Beach was a butte that's sticking up off the bottom of the desert floor where the volcano is. That finger is called Sunny Bono. Okay? That volcano feature is called Sunny Bono. And last night, or yesterday, they said there was a 2.5 earthquake there. Folks, they are just hiding the information. They're telling us things that are not completely true. Okay? What I'm showing you here is a lot more seismic events than they are talking about. They're not even showing this today. But look at it. Look closely at it. Okay? Over it on the left-hand side in the mid part of this seismogram where it says 0000 hours. That's 2400 hours or midnight. Okay? Look at the earthquakes at midnight on the black line on the center right. Again, that seismic event's been cut off on the top and on the bottom. This is at least a 3.5 to a 4-point earthquake, at least. And you can see where these other seismic events come in as well. Now, the last seismic event, that happened after 4 or just before 4:45 this morning. Okay? About 4:44 a.m. this morning. You can see that blue line on the right-hand side at the bottom. This shows it to be maybe a 2.0 earthquake. And then subsequent aftershocks. And then on the next line, on the green line here, the bottom left, we see the aftershocks, and then we see another 2.0 magnitude quake. And that lasted several seconds. Then we see the secondary quake here, the secondary seismic signal. Okay, the quake is still moving. The original strength of the quake is dissipating over a period of time. This dissipated over about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Then it became a body wave. But what I'm saying here, folks, these are definitely earthquakes. They're good-sized earthquakes. We cannot trust the agency because they're not giving us good information. Okay? Now this is just Bombay Beach. Let me show you some of the other seismograms here in this area so you completely understand what I'm saying. Now, we don't have any current seismograms for the Salton Sea area, Imperial Valley, and points north. They haven't come up yet. I'm hoping that USGS and Caltech comes up with good seismograms for tomorrow that will show today, because they're not putting them out today. Okay? But I want to make sure you guys all understand what is going on. Now, over here on North Shore, okay, North Shore Salton Sea. Let me bring that up for you. North Shore Salton Sea is over on the northeast corner of the Salton Sea. There's a small town there. That small town is alive and growing. However, look at this seismogram here. We don't see much activity at all here at North Shore. Okay? Again, this seismograph was active as of 5 p.m. last night. All we see here are tremors. Nothing more than tremors at all. That's it. This is on the northeast side of the Salton Sea. Okay? I would have thought that this area would be just as active or slightly less active. This is a lot less active. Okay? But then again, we didn't see much happening here when the bigger quakes were hitting over in Imperial Valley, meaning just south of the Salton Sea and all the way down to the U.S.-Mexican border area. Okay? That's North Shore. Let's go over and look at North Shore Saturday. Look at this. Okay? This is all the activity that we saw at the North Shore on Saturday. Sunday wasn't hardly anything. Sunday we had quite an array of earthquakes all over the place. Even up at North Shore Saturday. In this case, let me blow this up so you can see what I'm talking about here. This event happened on Saturday. This was April 29th. The top line here is 5 a.m. This black line at the top is 5 a.m. Look at this earthquake that we have here. Okay? This was at least a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, which is considered to be a minor earthquake. That earthquake took place at approximately, it started at approximately 5:07 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning. Look at that. That's a good sized quake. Now it may have been even larger. Okay? It could be as much as a 3.0. Okay? This was Saturday morning. Then we have subsequent small minor tremors after that. That is until after 2 p.m. Saturday. And we're talking Pacific time here. Okay? At approximately 2:07 p.m. on Saturday, we had another very minor quake or tremor sequence. On this black line, you can see it. Prior to that, all we have is a very tiny tremors. And we see that afterwards as well. Okay? Do you understand what we're talking about? The seismic energy was building up there. Was building up in a big way. All right, let's continue. I want to take you now over to the southwestern side of the Salton Sea. I'm going to take you over to Westmoreland. Westmoreland is on the southwestern side of the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea is here. Over on the west side of the Salton Sea, just south of the Salton Sea. That's where Westmoreland is. Okay? This is a quake sequence on Saturday morning. Again, this top line here is 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Over here on this seismogram, okay, this is about 5:07 a.m. when this earthquake sequence hit. It lasted 3.5 minutes. This strong quake sequence that they cut the top and the bottom off of this signature here, this earthquake signature, okay, this, folks, was probably close to a 4.0 earthquake. It was at least a 4.0 earthquake. On the top, it went off the paper. On the bottom of it, they still cut off the very bottom of this earthquake sequence, meaning they're hiding the information. They do not want us to know how strong this earthquake was. But the problem with this is, the whole problem with this is they did not announce a 4+ earthquake, meaning a 4-point-something earthquake, Saturday morning early. This was early Saturday morning, just after 5 a.m. The larger earthquakes were not announced until later. Okay, do you understand what we're seeing? And those earthquakes that were talked about up on the southern side of the Salton Sea, they were talked about as 2s and some small 3s. Okay, you can see the tremor sequence when it's a small tremor or a large earthquake or a larger earthquake. So far, from all the data that we've compiled, so far there was only one earthquake that rated a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake. Just one. Just one. Now, they continue to propagate this idea that nothing's going on. As you can see, there's a lot more going on behind the curtain. I'm looking at this like this was the Wizard of Oz. The wizard is behind the curtain pulling the data and not correctly showing us what is happening. Not showing us what is going on. Okay? You're seeing these earthquakes. This is just Westmoreland. Okay? When there's not a big sequence going, it's fairly quiet. But it does get going. Okay? Let's move on here. I want to go south to Imperial. This town of Imperial is directly south of Westmoreland. Look what we're seeing here. Up at the top, we have many seismic signals going on. Those are all tremors at the top. The only time we get near earthquake sequences is down here after 1:40 a.m. Sunday morning. 8:40 a.m. Sunday morning on this blue line here, where we see mostly 2.0 earthquakes, and maybe less. Okay? Then we see tremors again. A lot of tremors. Then we have a small earthquake sequence. This one starts at approximately 6:15 a.m. on Sunday. Okay? This is April 30th, yesterday morning. On that red line there. Okay? Then on the blue line. The blue line is basically covered by other colors here. But we see the blue line etching out a lot further. Okay? That earthquake sequence has been going on for a while. That sequence continued out until after 4 minutes after 6 a.m. 6:04. Okay? That quake sequence was cut off on the top and the bottom. All we see a small sequence is maybe a 3.0 earthquake. But since it was cut off on the top, it appears cut off on the bottom as well. We can only ascertain what we can see, that they've cut it off. May have been 3.0 or larger. But the subsequent earthquakes after that. Okay, now I'm looking at the black line here. The black line on the right, which is 4:10 a.m. yesterday morning. Look at that quake sequence. Look at how long it lasted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 minutes long. 4.5 minutes long. Now we can't see the red line on the left-hand side, which would be 4:15. It's covered up by color from after that. Okay? Then we see that blue line. The same thing. We can't see what happens over on the far left. All we can see is what we see about 2 minutes later. That is significant. Then the next time we see a good sized quake is on the green line on the right-hand side. That one looks to be at least a 3.0 earthquake, again cut off. Probably 3.5, 3.7. Then on the black line here. Okay? This black line happened at 1 a.m. Is that right? Just a second, I'm checking something. No, that black line is 4 a.m. Sunday morning. But we are seeing a substantial earthquake there. And it too lasts quite a long time. Quite a long time. About 3 minutes. They cut off the top and the bottom of this quake sequence as well. This is at least a 3.5 earthquake. Could possibly be as much as a 4, which means that several of these earthquakes that are showing us here now are 4.0 earthquakes. They only said there was 3 4.0 earthquakes. We have this here to tell us. These are the 3 4s that they're showing, but there's more. There's a lot more. Okay? There's quite a bit more. I didn't even think of bringing up El Centro. The seismograph that's sitting at El Centro is over at the U.S. Navy base at El Centro. U.S. Naval Air Station, El Centro. Let me go back here really quick and see if I can locate that sequence at El Centro. El Centro is a great place. I don't know how many of you may have been there before, but El Centro is a cool place to be. The Navy personnel have a wonderful time there. They've got a great little base there. Okay? Okay, I just transferred the El Centro seismogram over to our page here so I can show it to you. Let's go almost straight west to take a look at El Centro. I think we all ought to look at it because there's a lot of information there. There's quite a bit of information there. I'm hoping I've got it here. I don't see it here. This is weird. I'm just not showing it. I just sent it to myself, and I'm hoping they're not blocking me. Okay, I've got it now. They may have been trying to block me here. This is El Centro, guys. Look at the earthquakes here. There's nothing here over a 2.3. These are all minor tremors and earthquakes here. You can see the larger ones here. There's 2.2s, 2.3s, 2.4s maybe. But that's all. The rest are just minor tremors here. Okay? It's interesting how this quake sequence adds up. And yesterday we showed quite a few earthquakes out at El Centro Naval Air Station. Okay? But you see them here. There's a lot more information that they're not putting out. They're not showing everything that happened. Now, some of you may think this is real boring. I don't think Juanito, who lives down here, thinks it's boring. He's living through this. He's living through this. Now, I did have a young lady who's part of our EMA family down there in El Centro, and I thought that she might call us today. I was hoping to put her on the air if everything worked out. But she said that she would be interested in talking with me about what is going on there in the Imperial Valley. There's a lot of shaking going on. It's rattled a lot of people's nerves, and rightly so. And I'm not even done here. That's El Centro. Okay? I showed you Imperial. right here. Okay? Then I want to go down to the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. Good old Holtville. Okay, I found it. Okay, this is Holtville. Okay, if you go down into the Imperial Valley, south of the Salton Sea, maybe about 20 miles south, you'll come to a small town called Holtville. Holtville and Brawley, seemingly really almost right next to each other. But you can see the tremors here. There are no earthquakes here, these are all tremors. But yesterday, USGS and the European Agency were showing 1.2s and 1.7s and 1.8s. They were showing all the ones possible. Okay? But we weren't seeing this. This is completely different. There's a lot more seismic signatures here than we saw yesterday on the map. Okay? There's a lot more. Then we go and take a look at what else is going on down there. Okay? Let me show you another seismogram here. All right. Oh, where'd it go to? Well, this is weird. Okay. For just a second, I'm going to abandon this seismogram here, and I want to show you something else that's happened. Okay, this is the map that I showed you where USGS and Caltech have to offer us seismograms all over Southern California. Okay, I showed you this yesterday. Now, this is a seismogram I showed you yesterday with the earthquakes showing from Calipatria. Okay, probably close to 200 earthquakes yesterday. And you can see the strength of these earthquakes. They covered them up. They topped off the bottom and the top of these earthquake signatures. Totally covered them up. These were stronger than that. But you also see the tremors there. They did not show this. In fact, as the day wore on, they took the seismograph and turned it upside down. They turned the map on its end and threw off all the tremors and the earthquakes. Okay, all that was left was maybe 10 or 15 minor tremors. You can see over here at Calipatria, there was a lot more than that. A lot more than that. But folks, there's more to this story. Okay? I showed you this slide yesterday. Okay? This slide comes from down in Heber, California, near the border with Mexico. Okay? This is a geothermal power facility. Okay? They have dug in, drilled into the earth down here in the Imperial Valley. They drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Salt Butte volcano to obtain steam to push these great big huge turbines to generate electricity. Okay? Look at the earthquakes here. There was one gentleman on YouTube that says, oh, this is nothing but seismic energy as a result of all these turbines and the drilling that they've done in the Salton Sea to pull steam out of the upper magma chamber of the volcano. Yes, that does happen. That does happen. But as you can see by this from the seismograms, there was a lot more activity than that. There's definitely a lot more activity than they showed on the maps. They're not showing much of anything. Okay? This is what they showed yesterday afternoon. Look at all these earthquakes there. Literally all over, right? 7 kilometers deep southwest of Nyland. Okay, that was supposedly a 4.5 earthquake. As I showed you at Calipatria, those earthquakes were probably at least a 4.5, if not larger. Okay, and there was multiples. It wasn't just one. You can also see by this picture here all the earthquakes in the sequence, what you're seeing. There's a lot of power here. A lot of power that they're not identifying. Okay? They have just not shown much of anything. They really haven't. Then this one here. This is a new, pretty much a different map. This is showing the earthquake sequences down in the far southern end of the Imperial Valley in Heber, California. Over 100 earthquakes there, Saturday into Sunday morning. Over 100 earthquakes there. The same thing over at Calipatria. 100 plus earthquakes there. Now they're only saying, oh, there's not that many. Oh, heavens no. Okay? They're just not showing it. They will never be honest with us. They do not have it in them to be honest with us. Okay? I want to show you something. Come on. Okay, this was what was shown to us by the European agency yesterday afternoon. Look at the sequences down over here at the southeast corner of the Salton Sea here. That's Nyland, California. We have 9 plus and we have a 20 plus right there. Okay? That turned out to be 45 earthquakes. 45 earthquakes right there. And there was a lot more than that. I just got through showing you. There's a lot more tremors and earthquakes there than they're talking about. Okay? Then, let me get my pointing device. Okay? We told you about Sunny Bono right here. And this other earthquake here. Okay? There's a lot of earthquakes there. There's a lot of earthquakes there. Are they ever going to come clean and show us exactly what is going on? I don't think so. Sunny Bono's right there. My pen is pushing these earthquakes up right there. I don't know why my screen lets my pen direct the earthquakes. Okay? And then down here on the southwestern side of the Salton Sea, what do we have down here? More earthquakes down here. Okay? Again, they're not telling us everything. They are just not telling us everything. Okay. This is what they wanted to show us today at 12 noon. They're trying to tell us that nothing much is going on. They're not showing any earthquakes at all up here on the northeast side of the Salton Sea, Imperial and Nyland, California. They turned it off. However, we are still seeing a lot of earthquakes down here we're still seeing a bunch of earthquakes down here over at the U.S. border. Heber, California, 10 plus earthquakes there. And you can see other seismic events going on here in El Centro. They're just not showing us anything else. Folks, there's a lot more going on. Now, let me take this off here, and then let's go look at the USGS map. Okay, that's San Francisco, guys. So let me reduce this map down here. And let's bring it down here. Then I'm going to enlarge it here. Look here, guys. They're not showing anything at all on the southern side of the Salton Sea. But we keep hearing the call-outs that something's going on there. But the USGS not showing it. Then further down here to the south, near the Mexican border here, and even over across into Mexicali here, 1.5. They're calling this Calexico, but this is actually the Mexican side of the border. We go up here. This is also 1.5. This is also 1.7. Isn't it interesting how they only want us to see what they want us to see? Okay? This is a 1.4. This is a 2.6. This is a 1.5. 1.5. This is a 2.4. And over here is another 1.6. 1 kilometer west of Heber. Isn't that interesting? Let me show you something. Let me show you a current map. Okay, folks, this is the current map here. There's a lot more earthquakes than they want to tell us about, right? Oh yeah, big time. Big time. Down here near the Mexican border here, we're showing a lot more earthquakes, right? Over here, just southwest of the Salton City. Right here is the Salton City right here. Over here on the west side of the Salton Sea. This is over here. This is probably what they want to tell us about as Ocotillo Wells, which it is. That's a 2.48 earthquake. This is southwest of Salton City. Salton City, in reality, folks, is right there. Salton City's right there. That's Ocotillo Wells there. Okay? Up north of there, and this time we're on top of the Chocolate Mountains. This is Borrego Springs. This is a 1.05 tremor at Borrego Springs, part of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. Northeast San Diego County. But again, they're not showing us much of anything. In fact, they've actually taken some earthquakes off. Some of these earthquakes down here in Mexicali here, just south of the border, are gone. They've been deleting earthquakes all day. All day. Now, let me back out here. Okay, I showed you that one in Borrego Springs. This one over here is in the Anza-Borrego Desert area here. Okay? This one here. It's in the Anza-Borrego Desert. All of this area here is part of the Anza-Borrego area. This is the Anza Gap. The Anza Gap. All this area up here in the San Bernardino Mountains, coming all the way down here into San Diego, northeast San Diego, it's all part of what they call the Anza Gap. The Anza Gap. All that seismicity has increased. This is an increase over what it was up here to the north yesterday. A seismic increase there. Whether they want to tell us about a seismic increase down in the Imperial Valley today, they're going to hide it. They're hiding it. And I proved it. Now there's one other earthquake that I really want to show you about in San Diego County. This one is in Lakeside, California. I used to live there. My uncle also lived there, my Uncle George. This earthquake, okay, I'm going to enlarge this a little bit here. This lake is Lakeside. Okay, this lake is in Lakeside, and there's a small island in the middle of the lake that you can see right here. That's in Lakeside. Folks, I used to live over here. I could walk to this end of the lake. It's a huge park. Okay? Now, there happens to be an earthquake here. And just a minor tremor. It's a 1.49 minor tremor. Right there. This is an earthquake fault over in Lakeside. There are ancillary faults all over the place. Okay? As I showed you, this is the Salton Sea. Over on the eastern side of the Salton Sea right here is the San Andreas Fault. Over here is the San Jacinto Fault. Okay, you can see the fault line here at the San Jacinto Fault. That's a fault line of the San Jacinto Fault. Okay? Over on the western side of the mountains. Okay? Over on the western side of the mountains. Oh, come on, you stupid thing. Right here. Palomar Mountain is right here. Palomar Mountain is about 7,150 feet high. Palomar Mountain's gotten hit, hasn't it? We don't show any earthquakes right now. However, Palomar Mountain has gotten hit. This is part of the Elsinore Fault area. Goes all the way into San Diego County. This earthquake over here in Lakeside, is just on an ancillary fault. We get earthquakes and tremors there all the time. Okay? The earthquake that really gets people hopping is up here north of Los Angeles. North of Los Angeles and south of Malibu. South of Malibu. Right here. This is just south of Malibu. This is a 1.25 magnitude tremor just south of Malibu. And they used to say on this same map here, earlier today, they said it was south of Malibu. But, oh, please don't do that to me. But now they're calling this the Venice Canal Historical District. The Venice Canal Historical District. This is out to sea. This is off the coast of California, off the coast of Malibu, and they're calling it the Venice Canal District. Venice is all over, way over here on the shoreline here. Not even the shoreline. It's way over here. That is just south of Malibu. We're getting a lot of earthquakes there. Why am I showing it to you? Because see that earthquake fault that this is on? This is on the Newport Inglewood fault zone. And it runs all the way south here. It runs all the way south here. Right here. It continues running south here, doesn't it? All the way south into San Diego County. Runs all the way from up here into San Diego County down here. Okay? Right down here, where it enters San Diego City area. It enters over at Encinitas, which is north San Diego County. Then it comes down into San Diego City. Then it goes out into the harbor, the Rose Canyon Fault. Now, that whole area looks to be like it's going to come apart. I have seismograms from this weekend that show a lot of activity on the Rose Canyon Fault in San Diego. All over the place in San Diego. Okay? Crazy. It's really crazy. Let me show you something else. Sorry, that wasn't it. Oh, don't tell me that. Okay. They froze my screen, so I will go around them and I'll still bring it up. All right. Look at this, guys. This, folks, is what they call San Diego Mission Control. This seismograph is sitting in a building owned and run by the San Diego Gas and Electric Company, SDG&E. Okay, look at the earthquakes here today. Okay? This is on the Rose Canyon Fault. Look at these earthquakes. It's no longer just a tremor. Yes, there are tremors on this seismogram. But this is far more than just a tremor here. That's a full-blown earthquake. Okay? In San Diego. That's the biggest earthquake that I've seen in San Diego in quite some time. I don't live there. I don't feel it. I'm kind of wondering whether that earthquake was larger or not. They may have doctored that seismogram. I don't know. I don't know. But what I am saying, guys, is that there is seismic energy going into San Diego County as well. It's not just over here in the Imperial Valley. Now, yesterday I called for a major earthquake in the Imperial Valley, over along the Mexican border with the United States. I'm going to stay with it. I'm not going to call it a major earthquake warning. I'm going to back it off to earthquake watch. I want everybody to realize how serious this is. Yes, they're not reporting the earthquakes. It's valid. We've proven it. We've proven it till our hair goes gray. They don't care. I'm still calling for an earthquake watch in Southern California. I still believe there's going to be a very large earthquake that's going to hit there. These seismograms that I showed you show the status of what I'm talking about. They are not showing the earthquakes on the map, but their earthquakes are still there. The seismic energy has not left. It has not left. Okay? It's incredible what they're not showing. Now, I want to drift off just a little bit away from these earthquakes down in the Imperial Valley. I want to take us up over into the Cascadia area before we go any further. Okay? I want to show you Mount Rainier, and this is important. Look, folks, what is going on at Mount Rainier. I've been accused this weekend of not showing anything about the northern Pacific Coast West. I'm showing you now. This is Mount Rainier. Look at the tremors and earthquakes here. Okay? See all these lines with little dots in the middle of them? Those are tremors. The larger line, the larger vertical lines with the dot are also earthquakes. And we can see one here just about 0200 this morning. Okay? That dark blue line there is a 2.0 earthquake at Mount Rainier. And they're not telling us what that earthquake was. They're not even identifying this at Mount Rainier. They're saying one lousy, tiny tremor hit. They're wrong. There are tons of tremors all over this seismogram. And you can see them here. Down here we have a few more minor earthquakes. Again, 2.0, maybe even 2.2 magnitude tremor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.9 are considered to be minor earthquakes. And that's what we're seeing. We're also seeing a blob of magma here and there. Blobs of magma have lines going through them. Those are tremors caused by the magma forcing its way into the magma chamber of the volcano. That's why we have that. You can see all these tremors here, literally all over. The vertical lines that you see that do not have a dot in the middle of them, that is steam coming out of this volcano. Steam coming out of the volcano. There's a lot of it. There's a ton of it, guys. Mount Rainier is a very active volcano. You can see it here. It's no joke. It's really no joke. It's serious there. The top of this seismogram, you show a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Each line here represents a 15-minute time period. The thicker the lines, the more magma that's coming into this magma chamber of the volcano. And every time that happens, every time we see a lot of quakes and tremors, it's because the magma channel has a bunch of magma, and that magma is entering the magma channel of the volcano under pressure, and it's causing tremors. The magma hitting those rocks inside the volcanic chamber of the volcano, it's causing those rocks to fracture. And that fracturing is causing earth movement. That's what's happening there. Mammoth Mountain, Long Valley volcano, Shasta, Lassen, they're all moving. They're all very strong volcanoes. And one day, they're going to go. They're active volcanoes. They're not extinct. They're not even sitting there doing nothing. We can see that. Okay? Now, while I'm talking about that, over at Mount Rainier, there is a seismograph that is at Emerald Ridge. That seismograph is a multi-channel seismograph. One of the channels shows us a spectrogram of heat in the volcano. Heat caused by magma beneath the surface. The lighter blue lines here, kind of a green-violet line, okay? That is heat. You can see more heat at the bottom of this spectrogram. You can see a lot of heat. I'm sorry, I should have blown this up a little bit. There it is right there. You can see a lot of heat, some of it reaching the surface. Mount Rainier is an active volcano. Mount Rainier, with all the tremors and earthquakes it's having, is getting ready to erupt. It's getting ready to erupt. And that's no joke. That's no joke at all. Again, this seismogram comes from Emerald Ridge. There's another one here as well. This one here is coming from the precip tower southeast of Mount St. Helens. They call it Para, P-A-R-A. Look what you see here. That heat rising. That heat from the magma rising. It's very poignant here. You can't help but see it. Mount Rainier is moving. It hasn't gotten lit where it's blowing anything more than steam. But this volcano is moving. Now, with that said, let's go take a look at Mount St. Helens. Now I'm going south. Okay? I'll show you this. Look here at Mount St. Helens. You're seeing earthquakes here. You're seeing a lot of tremors and earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens. A ton of them. Okay? Look at all that. That is just today at Mount St. Helens. That's a ton of activity. Some of these are 2.0. Some of these are 1.5, 1.7. But one of the people pointed out to me today, Ron, do they ever always post a magma churn signal on these seismographs? No, they don't. The seismographs only put out when they want to, or when the scientist is telling the computer, I want to see a magma churn signal. Okay? Usually they have them. That magma is hot. Okay? The magma churn signals are caused by superheated magma. Okay? With the magma churn signal, we can see how strong these earthquakes were. Okay? Now, down here on the bottom left of this seismogram, by the way, this is a USGS seismogram. If we show you a red outlined document, that is the Pacific Northwest seismogram. Okay? They only print out in red ink. Okay? That's what's going on. But over here on the bottom left, you see a rectangle. A small sideways rectangle here. Okay? Let me enlarge this for you. That sideways rectangle is a magma churn signal. Now, magma churn signals would typically be 23 to 24 lines high. How much is this? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines high. This seismogram is only showing you maybe 26% of real world. 26% of real world. So that tells me that these earthquakes that we're seeing here are probably larger than they're showing them to be. Okay? Multiply this times 3 at least. 3 times as high as they're showing. That's a lot of earthquake power. Okay? Now we're looking at 3.5 to 4.0 magnitude earthquakes, and they're not on the USGS map either. Okay? They don't want to tell us. They are not going to tell us until it's too late. That's what these people do. I told you last week, the politicians make them do it. The politicians tell these people what they're supposed to eat and when they're going to go to sleep. They tell them everything to do. And these people fall into it. It's not the everyday person that works for USGS, but it is all of the managers. The managers there at USGS have a little to be desired. Very little to be desired. A lot of these people in the U.S. government, and I've seen it happen, and someone talked about it on YouTube. These people over at USGS do as little as possible. Okay? I was told that by senior people in the government. Oh, Ron, don't go out of your way to do this. Don't go out of your way to do that. You've got a job. You'll have a job as long as you be quiet and you don't rock the boat. As soon as you rock the boat, they're going to come after you. And they did. They did. And I actually got promoted by rocking the boat because I turned the tables around. Now, I don't say that every person should be doing that, but it worked for me. I reported the wrongdoing and I got promoted for it. Whistleblowers do succeed every once in a while. Not always. But folks, people at USGS are not even talking about half of this stuff. Okay? We only showed two tremors today here at Mount Rainier. But you can see what's going on here. Okay? That was Mount St. Helens. Let's take it down to Mount Hood. Okay? Good old Mount Hood. Actually, before we go over to Mount Hood, before I take you to Mount Hood, there's one other seismogram that I want to show you from Mount St. Helens. If I've got it here, I hope I do. Yes, I do, right here. This seismogram comes from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Okay? This is September lobe. This particular computer, this particular seismograph is a 5-channel seismograph. It allows us to see a lot of different characteristics that are happening at Mount St. Helens. This particular one allows us to see vertical waves, VLF lines, very low frequency waves. These low frequency waves are caused by magma coming into the volcanic chamber. Look at the top of this. The top of it shows an awful lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. It's all over the place. These swirling lines are literally all over the place, showing a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here. Okay? And then they continue. They get less and less until they fade out. Sometimes they don't fade out, they start all over again. In this particular case, it faded out finally towards the bottom and started all over again. Right there. Right here. Mount St. Helens is very active. It's erupted twice since 1980. Okay? And it erupted again in 2003 or 2006, I believe it was. Mount St. Helens is getting ready to go again. Okay? I showed you Mount Hood just a second ago. I showed you Mount Rainier. Now I'm showing you Mount St. Helens. All these volcanoes are getting ready to go. Okay? Guarantee it. The next one I want to show you is Sisters Volcano. Let's go take a look at Sisters Volcano. Okay? Sisters Volcano is not just one volcano. It's a series of 3 volcanoes. 3 volcanoes running north and south. Sisters 1, Sisters 2, and Sisters 3. Sisters 2 is the central volcano. Sisters 1 is the north volcano. Sisters 3 is the volcano that's south of there. Okay? Sisters North, Sisters Central, and Sisters South. 3 different volcanoes monitored by one seismograph. One seismograph. And that's what we're seeing here. You're seeing a lot of magma coming into this volcano, don't you? A lot. These blobs, these big round blobs, are just that. Blobs of magma coming in. And when they come in, what happens? They come in under pressure, and it fractures the rock around in that chamber. Okay? You can see the magma coming into this volcano here. And it's causing earthquakes. A lot of earthquakes. Look at that. Sisters Volcano. And then south of there, we have several other volcanoes there. Okay? Several other volcanoes. We have Surveyor Volcano that's south of Newberry. Let me try to find that here. This is Surveyor's Cave. Look what we're seeing here. This one up at the top. This one up at the top started on 2200, which was 10 p.m. last night. You can see a lot of magma coming into this magma chamber. Thicker lines means more magma. means more magma. The thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the volcano. The thinner the lines, it goes thinner to thickest, or back down to thin again. Okay? That happens. Some magma does not just start off hard and continue that way. It gets less, and then it gets a lot more magma again. You can never tell when it's going to slow down. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. Okay? That's what you're seeing here. You're seeing a lot of magma coming into this volcano here. Then it gets less and less here. Look at that. Folks, these volcanoes are getting ready to go. That's why we see this. Okay, let's go show you another one. There's one in south central Oregon. I try to show you this as often as I possibly can. It is Crater Lake Volcano. Crater Lake Volcano. Crater Lake Volcano has 4 seismographs sitting around it. Over on the southeast side, the northeast side, and over by Wizard Lake, or Wizard Island, there's another seismograph. And then over on the southeast side, or southwest side of Crater Lake. Okay? I'm going to show you Crater Lake Fleetwood Cove. Crater Lake Fleetwood Cove. Look at all the magma coming into this volcano. South of Central Oregon. It's moving, guys. Crater Lake is a large volcano. At the top of it is water. There's a huge amount of water in the top of the volcano. It's sitting in the caldera and goes rim to rim from one side of the volcano to the other. It's a high alpine lake. Look at all this magma. It almost obliterates the white on this seismogram. That's a lot of magma. What happens when that magma blows? When this earthquake gets, or this volcano gets ready to go, look out. Because that cold water will hit the magma, hit the lava as it's coming out of the volcano, and cold water and hot magma don't mix well. They explode. They literally explode. You can see what's going on at Crater Lake. There's a lot of magma entering this volcano right now. It got less and less during the day, but last night it was going crazy. You can see it here. Okay? You can truly see it. Through the rest of the day, it's been quiet until the very end right here. That's when it started to increase again. Right before I pulled the seismogram. Okay? They're going, guys. They're going. There's 2 other volcanoes in the Cascade Mountain range. One is Shasta, just south of the Oregon border. The other one is south of there, called Lassen. Both of those volcanoes are in the Cascade Mountain range. The Cascade Mountain range. What does that mean? Folks, we've been talking to you about the Cascadia megathrust earthquake. There's going to be volcanoes that are going to erupt near the same time that the Cascadia earthquake is going to happen. There was a mariner the last time the Cascadia earthquake happened. It was a very large earthquake. A very large earthquake, 9.0, 10.0 magnitude earthquake. There was a mariner off the coast of Seattle. he said he thought that either Mount Rainier or Glacier Peak was erupting when the earthquake happened. So there was a volcano erupting. We believe, and it's scientifically sound by saying this, we believe that just prior to the Cascadia megathrust earthquake happening, that we're going to see 2 4.5 magnitude earthquakes or larger hitting in the mountain range, in the Cascade Mountain range. 2 4.5 magnitude earthquakes or larger hitting in the Cascade Mountain range, not out to sea, but in the mountains. When you see the second 4.5 or greater earthquake happen, it could be a 5, it could be a 6, anything over 4.5. And it has to be within the same kind of time period, within a very short time of each other. When you see that, you know that the Cascadia magnitude megathrust earthquake is going to happen, and it's going to happen within just about a week or two after that sequence of earthquakes hit. And or a volcanic eruption. If one of those mountains goes, that means the Cascadia megathrust earthquake is going to be shortly behind. That's why we talk about these volcanoes. That's why we show you what's going on. We also show you earthquakes that are off the coast, off the west coast of Canada and the United States. When we see those earthquakes happen, it's just one more thing showing proof positive that these earthquakes are going to hit. Cascade megathrust earthquake is going to happen. Okay? Now, remember what I told you tonight. I still believe we're going to have a very large earthquake, possibly a major earthquake in Southern California. They want to tell us that nothing's going on. But the earthquakes are still hitting. Yes, the earthquakes have slowed down. The tremors have slowed down. But they haven't stopped. As soon as I can pull seismos with current day status on them, possibly as early as tomorrow, I'll come on the air and show you what is actually going on. And then we'll make a decision whether to lower the level. But right now, I'm not going to back off. And a lot of people are with me. A lot of people agree with the scientists as well, that the earthquake is going to happen here in Southern California. It's a matter of time. It's not if, but when it happens. Okay? You need to know that. One other thing before we leave. Okay? We've seen a lot of snow melt all over the world and all over the United States. I can show you pictures of a friend of mine's house up in the mountains just northeast from Salt Lake. 10 feet of snow there. This video here that I'm going to show you is downtown Salt Lake today. The cherry blossoms. The cherry blossoms are blooming on the trees. This is at the state capitol just in the north side of Salt Lake. Let's listen to what this meteorologist is telling us.
Things are warming up. It's nice to get outside and enjoy that sunshine. The thing is, with these warmer temperatures, it's accelerating our snow melt like crazy. And that's why we do have flood warnings that are now in effect. And I want to take you to a couple of those key areas so that you can prepare properly if you live near any of these areas. So the National Weather Service has laid out a flood warning for lower Weber River at Plain City. This is impacting Weber County. Expected to reach flood flow by Tuesday afternoon, expecting it to peak Wednesday afternoon. In addition to that, we also have flood warnings in effect for Little Bear River at Paradise and also South Fork of the Ogden River. This is in Huntsville. So some key areas that we're watching because temperatures, they're warming up like crazy today. Thankfully, later this week, we're going to see a significant cool down. Intermountain camera, you've got blue skies right now. It's clear. You've got the sunshine. So that's nice. We're in the upper 70s, wind coming out of the south, 12 miles per hour. This is what's really warming us up today. Upper 40s in Bear Lake, upper 50s in Evanston. You've got 77 in Provo, Nephi, 80 in Ogden, and down in St. George, 80 degrees. And you can see those winds coming out of the south, and they're really getting breezy in areas like Cedar City, Milford, and also in Delta. Clear skies, though. We've got some clouds out there through central Utah and northern Utah. So here's the big story. High pressure, it's shifting off to the east of us. We've got this storm that's going to drop down along the coast, but we are under that southerly flow, which is really what's warming us up. But it's that.
Okay, it's that low pressure system here that's going to bring rain into at least Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, and east, Arizona as well. Okay, it's coming. It's already on shore. It's coming.
Storm right there that's going to bring us some rain showers by Thursday. It's also going to cool us down. Today, though, no cool down in sight. Upper 80s. We're nearing 90 today in Salt Lake City. Hitting 88 means we're breaking our daily record, our daily high temperature. 68 in Park City, low 80s in Logan, 88 in St. George, and tonight things are still going to be mild. We only drop down to the upper 50s, so it's going to be a warm.
Okay, it's going to be a warm evening there in Salt Lake. Now, just 2 weeks ago, we had below freezing temperatures. Just 2 weeks ago, it was snowing in the mountains and snowing in Salt Lake City. Why do I know? Because my stepdaughter lives there. I have a conversation or hear from her at least every other day. It was snowing there just 2 weeks ago. Now we have 80-degree temperatures plus. That's incredible. And the snow is melting in the mountains. It's going to be causing flooding. Salt Lake is not the only major city that's going to see flooding. That region is going to see it. It's not the only one. When I lived in Fargo, we had a river on the eastern side of Fargo. Okay? It came out of Canada. It was called the Red River of the North. And it flooded in the spring. And I'm sure it's flooding now. They've had a lot of snow over there. We showed you pictures of the Mississippi River that was going over its banks the other day. Mississippi River is also flooding out. Okay? We're going to see melting snow, and we're going to see flooding all over the country, and literally all over the world as well. I want everybody to make sure you're ready. We talk about emergency preparedness all the time. I want to make sure you're ready for what happens. Okay? It's springtime all over the world. There's going to be some snow in some areas still, but there's going to be warming temperatures and melting snow. It's going to cause problems. Know where you can get sandbags. Know where you can get a shovel to shovel sand and dirt into your sandbags. You need to have sandbags, guys. In many cases, these do-it-yourself stores have plenty of sandbags and sand to give away, so you're able to do it. Your cities and counties also have sandbags. If not, ask them to get you some sandbags. They should. You need to be ready, guys. Now is the time to get out and do it. If not, there's going to be problems. I'm going to get off the air right now because one, it's getting late, and two, we're going to be getting some rain here. It's been partly cloudy and breezy here around the Morganton, North Carolina area, but it's going to change. We're going to get more rain. So folks, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank some people before we go, though. Last night, I got a telephone call, and I also got some messages that people sent us donations in the form of PayPal and Venmo donations. Right below the video here today, in the program description, you can see we have 2 PayPal sites. We also have a Venmo site where you can send donations. I want to thank our buddy Al, who sent us a donation on PayPal last night. I want to thank also Donna Howard, who also sent us a good donation last night on PayPal. Linda Covington sent us a great donation. I want to thank her. She sent it over on Venmo. I really appreciate that, Linda. It sure makes me feel good. Now, Linda also mentioned that she sent a donation to my email in terms of a gift card for my puppies, my two beautiful little four-legged children. I appreciate that. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to continue monitoring my email, Linda, but I want you to know how much I appreciate that. That means the world to me. Folks, on Friday, just to give you an update about me, on Friday I go see my doctor to get an update on my cancer status. I'm hoping the cancer will still be in remission, and they're going to give me another treatment. It's not going to knock me on my butt, but it's sure going to make things a little weird for a while. I'm still weird now from the last one. Okay, I'm getting these hot flashes. You see my red face going on. You see sweat dripping off me probably. Yeah, hot flashes. Women get them all the time. Because of this medicine that I'm taking, I'm getting them. And then I'm taking other medicine to try to calm the hot flashes, which also up my blood sugar. Go figure. That happens. I'm taking 3 different medications right now. Woo! But anyway, Friday afternoon at 1:50, I'm going to see my doctor to get an update on what we're doing and where we're going from here. I'm hoping that I'm still in remission. I appreciate all of your prayers. I appreciate all of your support. Those of you that don't want to use Venmo or PayPal, you can send it through the mail to our P.O. Box. Our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 422, Valdese, Valdese, North Carolina. The zip code is 28690. I want you to know I love you and I appreciate everything that you do for me. Now, there's one other thing that I want to do for you tonight. I want to share something with you. What I have to share with you is pretty important. I share scriptures with you all the time. These scriptures mean the world to me, and I hope they do to you. They really mean the world. This scripture I found in my groups that I belong to on Messenger. Okay? This comes from the New Testament. John chapter 21, verse 17. Now, I'm going to open up my scriptures here to this scripture here, but I want you to know exactly what happened here and why that the scripture is so pointed. Okay? Peter had some issues. Peter had some issues that he was trying to clear up. And I want to tell you from the scriptures what was going on here. Okay? I'm going to start off with verse 14. Okay? Actually, I'm going to start off before that. I'm going to go to verse 8. And the other disciples came into a ship. They were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. They were out fishing. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid thereon, and bread. And Jesus saith unto them, Bring of the fish which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up, one of the apostles of Jesus Christ. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet was not the net broken. As Jesus saith unto them, Come and dine. And none of the disciples durst ask him, Where art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord. Jesus then cometh and taketh bread, and giveth them, and fish likewise. This is now the third time that Jesus shewed himself to his disciples, after he was risen from the dead. So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than thee? What has the Lord taught us during his ministry? To love ourselves, because we have to learn to love someone before we can love anybody else. So Christ asked him, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, this is important, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith to him again, the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said to him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto them, Feed my sheep. Verse 17, that I've got right here in front of you. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? And Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus answered him, Feed my sheep. Verse 18. Verily I say, verily, verily I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest whither thou walkest. But when thou shalt be when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thy hands, and another shall gird thee, and carry thee whither thou wouldst go. This spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, saith unto him, Follow me. Then Peter turneth around, seeing the disciples whom Jesus loved following, which also leaned on his breast to supper, and said, Lord, which is he that betrayeth thee? Peter, seeing him, saith to Jesus, Lord, what shalt this man do? Jesus saith unto him, If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Okay, it's the second time here where Christ is telling his disciples to follow him. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto him, He said, He shall not die. But if I will that he should tarry till I come, what is that to thee? This is the disciple which testified of these things, and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. Okay, what happened here? First, Christ is telling Peter, Feed my sheep, 3 times. 3 times later after that, he said, "Follow me." The title of our Sunday school class is "Come, Follow Me," the Savior said. Why? We want to follow the Savior. We want to be like him. We want to obey the commandments. That way we can return to heaven with our Savior and our Father in heaven. That's important. What do we do on this earth? The Savior said we had to follow him, right? What is the other thing? He said, "Feed my sheep." Why? We need to open our mouths. We need to tell other people what we know and not be afraid. We need to open our mouths with the truthfulness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We need to teach our family and our friends the gospel of Jesus Christ. In order to return to our Heavenly Father, we must tell other people. We need to testify of what Jesus Christ did. We need to testify about how our Heavenly Father has treated us, so everyone will know what is going on, and every one of us can follow with our friends and our family back to heaven after we leave this life. We want to have those that are close to us with us. Brothers and sisters, he saith unto him the 3rd time, "Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me?" Peter was aggrieved, because he said unto him the 3rd time, "Lovest thou me?" And he said unto him, "Lord, thou knowest all things." He acknowledged the Savior, that the Savior knew everything. "Thou knowest that I love thee." And still Christ came back and said, "Feed my sheep." And that's what I'm asking all of you to do. Pass this program on. Pass this program to other people that may not know the truth of what we're talking about, whether it's earthquakes or preparedness information or disasters of any kind. Tell everybody about it. Also, tell them about the gospel of Jesus Christ, so they may also be filled and join us in heaven after our journey is through. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I ask you to obey the commandments. I ask you to feed the Lord's sheep. There's a lot of people that don't know anything about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Let's feed the sheep. I teach you all the time about Jesus Christ. Christ teaches us that we need to spread the gospel, and this is how we do it. We open our mouths, telling all of our friends that we know, bringing them lovingly into the gospel of Jesus Christ. Put your arm around them. Make them feel welcome. Let them know how much you love them. Feed my sheep. I love you all, brothers and sisters. I've invited you to this channel, not just to learn about Christ, but also to learn about survival. The things that we're going through today, not just in the United States, but all over the world, are very dangerous times. Politically, it's horrible. It's only going to get worse. We don't have much time left. Folks, do what you have to do. Be prepared. It's not just a Boy Scout motto. It's a lifestyle. I love you. I hope you have a great night. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it just as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll be back on the air same time tomorrow between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night. Take care of each other, and love each other. That's what this life is all about, loving each other. God be with you guys. I love you so very much. Take it easy. Love each other. We'll see you around the corner. Good night, everybody.